So I kind of think that we've kind of had similar ways of responding to COVID. The way that Capitol Theatres responded with their creative projects, and in a similar way to how you have as well out in East Lothian. It kind of feels like we both took the programmes that were already successfully running for us in our areas and just lightly adapted them so that we could take them into an online format.
Yeah, I mean, it was great because that's when COVID came, and we got people from here who were really struggling with dementia and carers over to the festival theatre right from the early stages and giving people this amazing experience. People were then going on buses, they were confident, they'd got stories to tell, and then it was gone. But because you and I just kind of chat about things and we're kind of, let's find an easy way to make this happen, we did.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? You can't underestimate the power of just phoning your sort of other organisations and peers up and sort of having a good chat about what each are doing in their area or what their ideas may be. And that's always the way that something special comes out of it, isn't it? Rather than really trying to think through a project idea at first. Or certainly that's been the way it's been successful for us, I think. It's just getting together and sort of throwing around a few ideas and seeing where it leads us. And I suppose you're right, that is exactly what happened with Sofa to Seat, because I got in touch with you a way back when last year before Christmas time. And that was when we started to build this really great relationship. And it was brilliant for us at Capitol Theatres to have so many families from East Lothian who were coming in. We were able to offer them buses and transport and bring them into the theatre and let them really, it wasn't just come to the theatre and see a show, it really was an experience. It was a day out that included tea, and it included a tour by maybe Scottish Ballet or Scottish Opera. They would come and do a sensory tour for them. So it started to really grow into something quite special between us, and it felt really sad for us to have suddenly been thrown into COVID and the potential that those relationships were lost. So I'm so glad that we were able to quickly adapt what we were doing.
Yeah, we need to capture that story, because I remember, you'll know who I mean, and we can't kind of mention names. There are friends that we have who aren't with us anymore, and we miss them. We miss them, but we remember some of the special times we gave them, like writing a review. I mean, writing a review of a performance. That people will probably never be able to do that again.
That's right.
Won't do that again. But that was, I hadn't expected people to get a published review of what they thought, and they were chuffed. I mean, it was just wonderful to see.
Yeah, it absolutely did so much for that person's confidence as well, didn't it? And the fact that they were able to share a little bit of who they were, in their life, and the fact that they had performed on one of our stages as well, certainly one of the people that I'm thinking of. And you could just see how much that made a difference for him to be acknowledged in that way. Yeah, it's really special.
Absolutely. Of course, because we kind of bring the local and the national together, I would see these stories being told in the community to people's friends. I would see how people were when they came back. So I kind of saw what happened afterwards and how that was lovely, and to be able to offer people a free treat. And I have to say, you did so much of the legwork as well. That was so appreciated. The organising, we got the taxis sorted. Good business, good for local business. Actually, I was really.
Yeah, it was very good.
Because that's one of our things is, we promote local businesses as much as whatever. So they now had a local taxi firm to use.
That's right, and I think as well that my learning from what we did there initially in that pilot is that I would always go to a local firm now in terms of the transport. And I think more than anything, it was even down to the fact that whenever I brought somebody's name up who'd maybe made a booking with us, when I phoned the taxi firm or the bus company, they often knew those people already. And so there was already this really great sense of, we know who these people are, we know where they live, we know what, how we want to be with them when they come on the transport. And it just all round made for a really successful experience for these families, because they felt that somebody was really taking care of them from their sofa to the seat of the theatre. So,
and another relationship in the community, another contact, another resource, another human being, another sense of connection. And so, I mean, COVID just blew so much of that away in every way imaginable. So when we got in touch, I was up to my oxters doing doing hyper local work, keeping people prescriptions and fed and informed and all the rest of it. And I thought, oh God, that's just what people need. And Zoom, it just worked so well, didn't it? I mean, we just took what we'd done, tweaked it. I mean, you did all the work. All I did was just, I can't remember what I did. Just go, cheering, going, yay! But it just kind of segged into, and then the opening came for something to do more. So having got our local most vulnerable people as safe as we could, when the option came, we were running a digital inclusion project.
That's right.
So when that local care home got in touch for wanting some digital support, we gave them a copy. We did them a copy of what's on, and it had right on the top there was the Festival Theatres work, and they saw that and they went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, I thought I'm stuck in this care home, not able to see my family, but I can go to the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh on Zoom.
Yeah.
And then we just made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was so important right from the beginning that we could take an essence of what, the events that we produced here in the venues. So I started off by thinking, right, what do we do with our tea parties and how can we make that work in the formats that are digital formats that are now available to us? And obviously, Zoom was going to present a problem in terms of performance because it's just too difficult to maybe get more than one person singing or performing in sync with another in a time. So, and my obviously next channel was to go straight to pre-recorded material. And so I was so lucky that we had so many relationships with local bands and even our in-house. We have so many talented people that are in Capitol Theatres. We have our own Capitol Theatres house band. And so we were quickly able to create these pre-recorded pieces of material. And then the next stage for me was to think, right, well, how can we do this safely? We want people to still have the tea party experience. And I think that's an important thing for me, is that creating that experience element, and that it's not just a singular event, and that there's something extra special that goes into the creation of it. And so that was when I started to investigate local caterers, and there was a few caterers in Edinburgh who'd really sort of nailed down this idea of contact-free deliveries. So they were using all the COVID guidelines and creating their afternoon tea packages in little boxes, following the guidelines and being able to just specifically drop them at somebody's doorstep, and that was fine, and we knew what time they were going to be delivered. I think the difficult thing from our perspective, in terms of you being in East Lothian and us being in the centre of Edinburgh, was just that the unfortunate thing that one, funding was difficult in terms of allowing us to stretch out to the further East Lothian postcodes, and that the caterers themselves just couldn't quite manage that wide a spread of deliveries. Yeah. But that was brilliant, because yet again, talking directly with you, Sue, we found a solution.
And we found a better solution. We found a much better solution, again, supporting local economy, supporting local groups and relationships. I mean, I've got, there's a wonderful project in North Berwick called The Beacon, which was will be again a lunch club meeting every week for 40 years. I'm on the soup rota. I do the 5th Thursday of the month. My mum used to go to this, and she loved it. And the cakes, you could just imagine, the community makes much better cakes.
Absolutely, and yeah, absolutely.
So we got the digital, the digital inclusion project, and they weren't getting the tea, and we both thought that's not fair. That's part of the experience, is a treat. And the care home could have made it. That wasn't the point. The staff needed this treat and something special as much as everybody else.
Absolutely.
So we put the word out. I thought of the ladies, they are all ladies from the Beacon, sitting doing nothing. Some of these women just bake for charity almost all the time. They're an incredible force for good in our community. They're part of St Andrew Blackadder Church. So got volunteers really quickly, and that was the cakes. And then the Rotary said they'd take them because a lot of the ladies are shielding or looking or are carers themselves. And that was it. And then we just got some photos. The Courier, our local newspaper, loved the story. The staff felt as good as the residents.
Yeah, that's definitely the feedback that I'm getting from this end as well. So right across the board, the care homes who are getting in touch with us, And even when I see them, online on Zoom sessions, the staff are just, it's given them some energy. They're able to really get up and dance, and I've watched people dance and sing together, and you can see the staff are enjoying it just as much as any of the residents. And it's not surprising in the current climate, is it?
No, and it's I mean, you can imagine now discussions are underway about Christmas and virtual Christmas light ceremonies and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so the Beacon can't be a lunch club at the moment, obviously, for obvious reasons, but going, oh, we might do something. Oh, we'll do something with the care home. And so that relationship is now there.
Yes, absolutely.
It's only been built, bits of it, by taking people an iPad.
Yes.
The Rotary guys and the Beacon haven't met the residents.
Yeah, yeah.
But the relationship is there and it will continue. So we're all looking at how do we keep that going? How do we grow it? How do we support it? And when we get back to the real world, which at some point hopefully we will, where will things go?
Yeah, and the thing is as well, when you look at what we've been able to do with having people donate their skills in baking, and then they can take them out to the care homes. What's really great is that actually from a sustainability point of view, and even when things return to whatever normal is going to be, as a theatre, even though we have a tea party that will hopefully be back in the venue, there is still scope that we can also offer that out in the community where people maybe can't come into the centre of Edinburgh for whatever reason that may be. And that's all because there is that potential now that we can work with local bakers or local people who volunteer in their community in that way to keep that going. And my hope for the future is that we can do direct live streams. So we can live. There we go. Let's talk ideas. But my hope is that now, whilst we are in the venue, maybe having a tea party, with people who are potentially more local to Edinburgh, that we'll be able to live stream and potentially be able to offer afternoon teas in the community, just as a regular event now. It's really special. And the interesting thing for me that I need to just mention is that from that relationship with Dementia Friendly East Lothian, and the fact that we were able to work through a way to make that happen with the Beacon Club and the Astley House Care Home, what that then encouraged me to do was to approach West Lothian. And so I approached West Lothian Resource Centre, and it was Sherry out at the Alzheimer's Scotland Centre out there. And this month, we're doing a very similar thing. So they heard how successful it was in East Lothian. And now what's happening this month is that we are teaming up with the Braid House is out in West Lothian, and they're going to offer the afternoon teas. They're going to make them, and people that are working within Alzheimer's Scotland are then going to deliver out to their local area in West Lothian. So it's just great. We're connecting from a theatre point of view. We are connecting with people who maybe don't have that same accessibility to come into us. Not that anyone can currently, but that maybe haven't stepped into the theatre because it's just too far out of their scope in terms of mobility or transport. So it's wonderful. It's really wonderful.
It is kind of interesting, and just talking together, sharing our stories, it just fits so well. And this for me is what it's about.
Yeah. And also, the great thing is the care homes themselves, because they're already making afternoon teas, they are taking on within their own locality. Certainly in Edinburgh, we've got a care home, in Edinburgh, who they're creating an extra 10 now every time they join our contact-free tea party, and then they're taking them out into their own EH13 postcode and delivering an extra 10 for free in their community because we're providing like the pre-recorded performance for them. So the thought that care homes, we could all work collaboratively like that, and that I can maybe work with other care homes in the area to also offer a few extras because they're making them anyway, is also something that's really exciting to explore.
Absolutely. I'm so excited about where we've got to with this, and where it goes next.
Yeah, and how we can potentially take that and lift it and make that work for many other things, many other activities that we do, and a new way to be able to just work with the community.